What if I said that you've been playing Strand Hunter wrong this entire time? Let me explain. Strand Hunter truly shines when you build into Ad Control over Ad Clear. Yes, double whirling Maelstrom and Grapple is very fun, but compare it to Prismatic Hunter and it becomes obvious who wins the title of Best Ad Clearer. Spoiler, it's not Strand. So, instead of trying to dominate the field, how about we control it? This is Strand Hunter Perfected. The core of this build is to suspend enemies and take the aggro away from us and to our Strand clone. As such, our aspects will be Suspending Slam and Threaded Spectre. Our build revolves around a class ability, so it's a no-brainer that our exotic armor of choice is Radiant Dance Machines. What this exotic does is give us class ability energy with every primary kill and also a buff to our hipfire. With that in mind, we need a primary weapon, and a hard-hitting one at that. Fighting Line will be our go-to for this. For those that don't know, Fighting Line is a primary ammo breech-loaded grenade launcher, which is what makes it exotic in the first place. On top of that, direct hits will cause a volatile applying explosion, and after dealing damage with Fighting Line, getting any kill not using the exotic will reload it. Catalyst also grants plus 30 reload speed, and after shooting Fighting Lion, you're granted plus 100 handling and minus 30 accuracy cone size to kinetic and power slot weapons for 3 seconds. That's basically quick draw and opening shot in simple terms. So that we can utilize the reloading aspect of the exotic, we'll need another weapon to pair with it. This will be a rocket-assisted sidearm, as they hit hard and have decent range. Since the energy slot is taken up, we're left with two choices: the Cool, which is Strand and from the final shape, and Tinashe's Mastery, which is Stasis and from Iron Banner. The Cool is my main choice with Strategist and Wonderful. Strategist is the focal point, as kills with this weapon will not activate Radiant Dance Machines, so this perk is to keep everything going after dealing damage with Fighting Lion and swapping weapons. If you can't use the Cool, then you can run Tinashe's with Air Trigger and Chill Clip. So, now you know the main components, but how does it all come together and how does it actually work? Step 1. Find a group of enemies unaware of their impending doom. Step 2. Approach from above and use your Suspending Slam to immobilize them. Step 3. Take a step back so you're not getting hit by nearby enemies. Step 4. Aim your Fighting Lion and shoot. Step 5. Watch as your class ability energy skyrockets. Step 6. Swap to a different weapon to finish off any remaining suspended enemies. This is what the build is all about: suspending enemies, taking the aggro away from you and your team, and then doing it all over again after gaining back your class ability. Now you know the core of the build, let's go through everything else. Our melee is the only choice we have, Threaded Spike, and our grenade is to grapple for some maneuverability, and truthfully, it's just fun. We should never be in a position where we don't have a class ability available, so there's no need for us to run a Shackle grenade, and the Threadland grenade is nowhere near good enough to be worth taking. With our two aspects, we're left with 4 fragment slots for us to use. We'll be taking Thread of Bind to gain a little extra class ability when killing our suspended enemies, and Thread of Continuing to increase the duration of our suspend, and a Sever from Threaded Spike. Thread of Warding will allow us to gain Woven Mail on Orb pickup, and we should have a high uptime of that using Thread of Wisdom, which will create an Orb of Power upon defeating a suspended target. Like with most builds, your mods are pretty standard and only slightly tailored to the build or activity. On the helmet, we want a hands-on Void Siphon and Harmonic Siphon. For your arms, we'll be running 2 Grenade Kickstart and 1 Impact Induction. Now, the reason we're running Kickstart mods over something like Explosive or Restorative Finisher is 1. We want to be using Fighting Lion or the Cool to primarily kill our enemies, and 2. Kickstart mods are passive. That means all you have to do is use the ability when it has armor charge and nothing extra. Your chest mods will be pretty standard. We're going for 1 Strand Reserve, 1 Melee Damage Resistance, and then you can pick the last mod slot to be a Damage Resist, which suits whatever activity you're in. Since we have no healing through weapon perks or abilities, we'll be running 1 Recuperation or 1 Better Already on our legs, so that we can get a chunk of health and start regenerating health on Orb pickup. And then we've gone for 1 Innovation to help with getting our grenade back. Finally, with your class ability, we're running Reaper, Powerful Attraction, and Bummer. And yes, they all do work with your Suspending Slam, which was much to my surprise because Ascension doesn't currently, but that is changing. Using the Siphon mods, Thread of Wisdom, and Reaper, we can reliably create 2 to 3 orbs each time we suspend a group of enemies and kill them. This build is actually an orb generating machine, which was unintended, but very welcome. Returning to a grenade for a second, we have 4 avenues for gaining grenade energy. Kickstart mods to, as the name suggests, start us off, Impact Induction for when we use our melee, Innovation for when we collect orbs, and Bomber for when we use our class ability. With all of those combined, we shouldn't have any issues with keeping our grenade up. Now, you might have noticed that I haven't mentioned what power weapon to use. The reason being is that this should be any heavy for damaging boss level enemies that Fighting Line isn't going to do much against. But I do have one suggestion. For general play, I heavily suggest Abyssal Edge with flash counter and then a perk of your choosing. Why? Because it's fun and it adds an extra level of enjoyment to the build. In games like Kazan, when you manage to parry that attack and stagger the enemy so you can go in for more damage, that's the type of flair that this weapon gives off, and it just enhances the build. Finally, let's have a look at the artifact mods available this episode and in the Edge of Fate and see what works alongside the build. Starting with the artifact for this episode, in the first column, go for Piercing Sidearms as you'll be running either the Cool or Tenacious Mastery. In the second column, we want Volatile Marksman for the boost and then Unraveling Orbs. In the third column, go for Disruptor Spike, which will improve our Sever. Nothing specifically worth taking in the fourth column, and in the fifth column, go for Elemental Supercharger and 2 Shreds. For the Edge of Fate artifact, in the first column, go for the combo mod Unstoppable Sidearm and Hand Cannon, and in the second column, go for Tightly Woven. For the third column, we'll take Reciprocal Draw and Refresh Shreds, and then the fourth and fifth column don't have anything that really enhances or benefits this build, so I wouldn't suggest anything from them. Of course, these are just recommendations for what specifically works with the build. In different situations, you'll definitely want to and will be taking different mods like Particle Reconstruction. Well, that should cover everything for this build. I truly think Strand Hunter shines when you don't try and do what other builds do better. Like I said at the beginning, this is ad control, not ad clear, though it does still do a pretty good job at both. For those that want it, I'll include a dim link in the description so that you can jump straight in. Let me know what you think of the build, and if you prefer this more concise and pre-planned style, or if you prefer the wing it style like with my sealed Ahamkara Grasp video. Anyway, have a good day, and thank you for watching.